So, so say same thing happens. A person with internal locus of control goes for a job. They prepare for the interview. They go in for the interview. They do, as far as they're concerned, the best they can do, right? And they find out that they don't get the job. Hello, and welcome to Therapy Notes 30. I'm your host, Dr. Elaine Malik. This is where practical psychology meets everyday living. This is a site where I talk about concepts, issues, topics that we hear in therapy. This is not meant to treat or diagnose anything, but is for educational purposes only. So come along and listen to some of the everyday things that we talk about in therapy. Today is a good day to talk about a concept. And the concept I want to talk about is this concept of internal versus external locus of control. It has a lot to do with the way we view ourselves in the world and how we face adversity and difficulties. So let me break it down for you a little bit. Let's start with external locus of control. A person with an external locus of control believes that most things are under the influence of external factors. Things happen out of fate, they happen out of luck, that other people outside of themselves is driving the main source of outcome. They may say, things just happen. There's nothing you can do about it. It's the system is rigged, or there's outside influences that I have no control over. Okay, so they tend to look at it like that. They tend to look at it as the outside factors are far more influential over what happens to me than I am. Okay. So let's take an example of what that would look like. So say that we had a circumstance where a person decides he's going to apply for a job. He needs to find a job. He's out there looking for a job. He applies and he gets an interview. And so he sits down, he prepares for the interview, he goes in, he answers the questions, he feels he does his best, and he doesn't get the job. He might say to himself, you know what, I don't think they were going to hire me anyway. They probably had somebody internally picked, right? Somebody who already works at the company. They just put it online just so they could check a box. Or, it's a tough time these days for people like me to get a job. Or, I knew when I went in, this guy, he didn't like me. I could sense it, right? That's kind of, there's external factors that contributed to or led to that outcome. Let's take the internal locus of control, the person with internal locus of control. How are they different? Well, an internal locus of control person tends to believe that they have a lot of influence over the outcome of circumstances. They believe their choices, or the amount of effort they put in, or other factors that they have control over, play a large part in how things turn out for them. They tend to have a lot more confidence. They tend to approach situations from a position of, what can I do? So say same thing happens. A person with internal locus of control goes for a job. They prepare for the interview. They go in for the interview. They do, as far as they're concerned, the best they can do, right? And they find out that they don't get the job. What does this person say to themselves? How do they approach it? More often than not, the person stops and says, gee, I didn't get the job, I wonder if there's anything I did or didn't do that might have led to that outcome. I don't know. Maybe I should I should spend more time interviewing to get more comfortable with it. I could remember I was a little bit nervous when I took it, when I went for the interview, so maybe practicing a little bit more. Maybe I can go online and see if there's key elements that make interviews more successful. Maybe I can talk to a friend and ask some honest questions about my interviewing skills. Do some role modeling with them, role playing with them, and see if I can increase my skill in interviewing. So they tend to look at it as something happened that I didn't particularly like. What can I do maybe to change the outcome going forward? So internal locus of control tends to take it as an opportunity to learn. They don't look at it as something that happened to them, that all they can do is just accept that this is the way life is. So people with internal locus of control tend to have more confidence, as I said. They tend to be individuals who problem solve when something doesn't go their way. And they tend to look at it as, I really can't change life. I mean, life's going to do what life's going to do, but I do have direct influence of how I react. I can beat myself up, I can feel bad about myself, I can blame others, I can be upset, I can look at it as it's proof that I'm not good for this kind of work, whatever, or I can look at it as, how can I respond to this in a way that's going to help me down the road? So you can see the big difference. Now, most of us have areas where we use one of either of these. Some of us have a lot of internal locus of control philosophies that we use to approach most things in life. Some of us have a stubborn habit of using external locus of control. But remember that you can change that. It can be altered just by understanding what's happening. Sometimes is a good way for us to begin to move into a slightly more internal locus of control attitude in most things. So that's the difference between the two. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you found this informative. If you have some topics you'd like me to discuss, please put them in the comments below. Until next time, I'm your host, Dr. Elaine Malik.